Hi YouTubers, and I went to see Tron Ares. Spoilers for movie. Stuff that happened and stuff I liked about it. 9 Inch Nails music was so good. Return of Kevin Flynn was done very well. Jared Leto as Ares, good casting. Wish that a true Tron Legacy sequel happened. Of course with Sam Flynn and Quora in it. At least we still have Tron, the next day. The idea that Tron people coming to the real world is an interesting, underrated and great iconic one. This is a soft reboot, although it's kinda like a soft sequel considering this movie takes place 15 years after Tron Legacy. Athena was a good female program villain. Greta Lee as Eve Kim was a great casting. Julian and Elizabeth Dillinger were fine casting. The bond between Eve and her deceased sister Tess was an interesting thing to add to the plot, considering every character made by Disney has to have one parent that dies for us to emphasize with the protagonist. Either way, I liked the movie, thought it was good and underrated. Anyways, here's the plot. 15 years after Sam Flynn attempted to retrieve his father Kevin from the grid, Encom and Dillinger Systems, led by former Encom executive Ed Dillinger's grandson Julian, raced to bring digital constructs into reality. Encom Chief Executive Officer Eve Kim and her partner Seth Flores visit a remote Alaskan station set up by Kevin Flynn decades ago, believing his computers hold the permanence code to break the 29-minute barrier holding back the constructs. After finding the code, they transfer a digital orange tree into the real world, where it lasts for hours. Meanwhile, at the Dillinger headquarters, Julian introduces Ares, a master control program, MCP, to shareholders, claiming he is the perfect, expendable soldier. Ares shows unexpected self-awareness, noting Julian's indifference to his survival, and interest in real-world phenomena. After Ares dematerializes, Julian's mother, Elizabeth, expresses concern about the limited lifespan. Julian disregards this and later uses Ares to attack Encom's mainframe for the code. A security fight ensues as Ares downloads Eve's personal data. During their escape, Ares, despite his programming, tries saving an injured program named Keys, but Julian pulls him out and disables Encom's grid. Eve and Seth return to Encom with a hard drive containing the code. Their colleague, AJ Singh, warns of Julian's cyber attack, forcing Eve to flee while Julian and Ares track her, with Ares and his second-in-command Athena chasing Eve on light cycles. Eve hits Athena and hijacks her light cycle, but Ares corners her in a nearby port, where Eve destroys the drive. Ares recognizes Eve's empathetic response as Julian digitizes her to the Dillinger grid before Ares and Athena de-resolve. Julian becomes more determined to retrieve the code. Ares reveals it can be obtained using Eve's identity disk but will kill her as a result. Julian accepts this risk. However, Ares then lies to Athena, claiming that Julian is indisposed and attempts to bargain with Eve, asking to achieve permanence in exchange for Eve's freedom. However, Athena, suspicious of Ares' behavior, is able to contact Julian and return with orders to derez Ares. Ares and Eve are able to evade their pursuers and return to Dillinger headquarters, where Julian mocks Ares as they escape. En route to Encom headquarters, Eve and Ares reflect on their motivations, with Ares determining that Eve pursued the permanence code out of a sense of inferiority to her sister, who worked on humanitarian projects. Eve realizes a copy of the code might be stored as a museum piece at Encom. They reunite with Seth to digitize and upload Ares onto Flynn's original grid. Athena destroys the particle laser to trap Ares and then pursues Eve. The sprinkler system activates, and Athena shows a moment of self-awareness before dematerializing. AJ and his assistant Aaron arrive, and Seth and Eve explain their plan to use Athena's own particle laser so they can free Ares and thwart Julian. Elizabeth, after her board reinstate her as CEO, tries turning off the particle lasers, but Athena rematerializes and fatally stabs her, reminding Julian about his instructions to obtain the code. On Flynn's primitive grid, Ares encounters an aspect of Flynn, and they discuss Ares's desire for permanence. Intrigued by Ares's wish to live permanently and his internal confusion, Flynn grants Ares the permanence code before Ares rematerializes in Flynn's arcade in a new suit with white highlights. Athena pilots a recognizer into the city to find Eve, and eventually captures her while the Encom staff breach the Dillinger grid. After Athena captures Eve and prepares to return to Dillinger, Ares intercepts them, engaging Athena and her allies. AJ, Seth, and Aaron penetrate and shut down the Dillinger mainframe, preventing any of the Dillinger programs, barring Ares from rematerializing. A wounded Athena permanently dematerializes in Ares' arms. The authorities raid the Dillinger headquarters, but Julian uses the laser to digitize himself. Eve and Ares go their separate ways, with Encom using the permanence code to benefit the world. Ares later sends Eve a postcard about his life outside the grid and plans to find Sam and Cora. Meanwhile, Julian enters the damaged Dillinger grid and is transformed by an identity disk that belonged to his grandfather's program, Sark. That's it for today. Peace out, bye bye.